Welcome to why FusionDirectory is becoming the Lego of IAM. But first, a word about us. FusionDirectory, the company publishing FusionDirectory, is an identity management specialist, expert on open source identity management software, and specialized in higher education and research. Once upon a time, there was identity management. The first issue is business application. Many legacy business applications have no LDAP support or really poor support. Business applications developed in-house have not taken into account identity management and have lots of manual processes. We often meet applications dedicated to a category of user written in-house but not maintained, and which are nevertheless important. Web services are almost non-existent. Simplifying complex workflow. Today, the demand is for reliable and recent data. Simplification and automation reduce the work and, of course, reduce the number of manual actions to avoid human error. The inevitable manual work. Use of intermediary account management application to add email, password, login creation, manual retrieval of a photo, placed on a specific directory, run by a script and then push inside the identity management, and so much of it. Here comes FusionDirectory. FusionDirectory is a web application to manage user groups, roles, email, DHCP, DNS, Cirrus postfix. It also manages system and deployment tools. One of the most used functionality is, of course, the full support of SUPAN 2019 and other software from the higher education. We have also fine access control to delegate tasks, customizable template, trigger on editing, modification, deletion, verification, full web service REST, and support for CAS, Lomon LDAP, WebHood, and Ubico. If you want to know more about the main feature of FusionDirectory, I will recommend you to watch our webinar series in French only, but it will give you an overview of what FusionDirectory can do. First, let's discuss about the FusionDirectory API. At first, FusionDirectory, which is derived from GOZA 2, didn't have an API, but disparate function not intended to evolve and did not form a complete set. When we forked to make FusionDirectory, we were thinking about how to make a clean API. The most important feature of this API were using an abstraction layer to facilitate storage in an LDAP directory, automatically build the graphical interface in a simple and automatic way, automatically manage FusionDirectory ACL without writing additional code, and of course, provide a set of attributes from the simplest to the most complex to simplify the writing of plugins handling complex data. The plugins offer various ways of interact with your LDAP data. Add a tab to an existing type of object, have a new type of object, add a management page, some kind of listing, add a new entry into a menu, add new categories, including dynamic categories, add an email method, add a new type of service for server, and so on and so on. Here you can see a little extract of the code. You see that this code will use a set attribute and inside it a select attribute to select a different kind of info to put into the select. Here you can see what this code is doing. As you can see, it automatically makes the interface, the select box, the combo box, and everything. So with little code you can really have a nice interface that can store your data. We have also some kind of advanced attributes. For example, the set attribute wraps around an attribute that's not multi-evaluated to make one being multi-evaluated. the composite attribute allows a single LDAP attribute to split into several attributes in the interface. Here you see the case of a DNS record. And the object attribute allows to choose object via a management window and only click on the object. Foreign key, it's like some foreign key you see in database system. It will update the reference when the object is modified, and you can look in the reference tab to see what other place this object linked to. FusionDirectory, being a web interface, also have some theme in place, so you can build your own theme to reflect the color of the company, of the way you want people to see things. So you can manage that through CSS and Smarty. You don't have to redo the whole CSS, you just update the part you want in your theme and the global theme will adapt automatically. For icon, we built a free desktop library for PHP, so you can use classical icon theme. And the CSS is in less format for programmer, so it's easy to generate variation in color, font, text, and size. Here you see two different themes, one from the Condorcet campus and one from OE2. You can see that you can customize nearly everything, change color, change icons, change where the button are, and so on. Now let's talk about the web services. Web services are really important today because you don't want to continue to give access to your LDAP server to lots of people, lots of scripts. You want to have some way of getting data from your identity management system and pushing data to your identity management system, but with control about the data, control how to make the data, let ACL do their role and restrict what people can do. Here you have a classical way of using the web services. You have two databases. You get the data through the web service to the database. You send the data to FusionDirectory with the web services. It will validate if you have the right to access the data. Then it will validate the data you receive. It then will apply the template, activate the macro, and create the full object in its full capacity, then create the user, and then of course he can access the FusionDirectory trigger to send this data to other applications that need to be optimized also. The web service is based on the Open API specification. We offer a file in this format that lists all the available operations. Some client directory support this format to generate queries. You have the URL for the official documentation, and if you install FusionDirectory, you can open this file at the URL mentioned here. Here you have some example of web service call. Let's look for a user. Let's look when you know the user, the UID number of the user, and then let's put a new UID number to this user. Here is an example for a mail account. How can I get the attribute mail, Goza mail server, Goza mail quota on the mail account? Use case, that's the interesting part. First, OE2 use FusionDirectory to create a user. They use it to list member, to do the white page. They have some internal tools based on the web service that can do something like give me the X or Y type member who registered between such and such date. Delete me the user with UID is X. Here you can see the page that goes inside XWiki with field user, and this page will then contact the web services to create the user in FusionDirectory. Here you have the white page. The second case, it's Telecom Sud Paris. Telecom Sud Paris use extensively the web service and template to provision their user in all their complexity. When I say in all their complexity, they are using at the maximum. We create a user from the RH system and we create the user, the mail account on the Simpra server, all the suppend functionality, all the data for the access card, and also the cycle of life is done at the same time. They use Unicampus and FusionDirectory. Unicampus is the software to make the badges. They use Unicampus from FusionDirectory to send the data to make the badge, and Unicampus will send back the serial number of the badge, so the data stays in FusionDirectory and FusionDirectory has the control of it. And also they're using now Webservice to archive personal account or student account, and to respect the GDPR, this archival only conserve the minimal information needed. Here you have an explanation of the provisioning in Telecom Sud Paris. As you can see, you have a staff database and you have student, temporary, group and classes. All goes to the same synchronization process. They go to the web service of FusionDirectory, who is making the access control, and then with the application of model, it automatically creates the user Ismail, Supan, Supan layer physical, and Supan multi-service card with the access card. And for example, this is the getting back the number from the Unicampus. So in this case, Unicampus told to a web service, this web service told to FusionDirectory web service, and it inserts the badge number inside FusionDirectory, so we have all the information inside the entity management system. You want to know more? Here are two links. You can request a demonstration of FusionDirectory if you want. Thank you for listening and have a nice day.